The Brewers continue to gain ground on the Chicago Cubs while the Yankees and Red Sox squared off in the Bronx for the first of a weekend series. Let's talk about it.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Yes, welcome on in to MLB Game Night, where we cover every single game, every single night, as only the Locked On Podcast Network can do it. I'm your host, Lindsey Crosby. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. I host the Locked On Braves postcast over on Locked On Sports Atlanta. He is Steve Lennox, host of the Locked On Red Sox postcast. You can follow him on the X at Lennox on Baseball. And Steve, ton of stuff to get to. Lars Nootbaar continues to be hot. The Twins continue to not. And just the Padres gaining ground on the Dodgers in the NL West. But before we get to that, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy. Enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for two. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. I want to start off Brewers Cubs because this was a really highly anticipated series. Cubs needed some wins here. Brewers have been the hottest team in baseball, and Brewers take the finale 4-1 in this one. Here's Chuck Freeman from Locked On Brewers all about the victory and kind of the vibes in Milwaukee.
And faith is restored back in the Milwaukee Brewers, right? People got a little edgy here in the last couple of days, but it's all good. Hey, everybody, Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. Yeah, I thought this game was over. It was a 2-0 game. Lifeless Chicago, the Cubs, Council's team wasn't going to rally. You can put bases loaded in 5 of those 6 innings, and Cubs weren't going to get a key hit. Brewers get it done, and Isaac Collins comes up with a big 2-run single for insurance. And the Brewers, yeah, they lose a season series to the Cubs, but it's not even going to come down to that because that was a pivotal game. The lead back to 7, and the Brewers now come home. Got a big homestand coming up, starting with San Francisco. We'll talk about that a little bit later on tonight on the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
Is it just me, Steve, or is it every single time we talk about this Brewers team, we're talking about somebody else? Like this one, yeah. Isaac Collins, big 2-run single. Bryce Terang has a 2-run homer in the second and has 9 hits in the series. It feels like it's a different guy every day.
And the bullpen got the job done. Priester doesn't make it out of the 5th inning. Gave up 5 walks in his outing, 95 pitches, 51 strikes. You're going to need him to give you length, not only down the stretch here, but, you don't want him going less than 5 innings once they get to October baseball. But, yeah, it's sort of been a theme. They've had guys with injuries. They've dealt with their share of injuries. But Collins is a guy who's just gotten better and better throughout the course of the season. Even with the book on him and more of scattering reports on different things, he comes through and just was able to add on to the lead, as Chuck said there, with his recap.
Yeah, this is not a paid plug here, but sponsor FanDuel has Isaac Collins leading the Rookie of the Year race of the National League over Atlanta's Drake Baldwin. All right, let's talk to Sam Olber from Locked On Cubs and get his perspective, because had a lot of big hopes for Shota Imanaga in this one. They really needed the win and they didn't get it. Here's Sam.
Got the Cubs back to their winning ways. Youth, life, juice from Owen Casey, Matt Shaw. Who wasn't in the lineup today? Owen Casey and Matt Shaw. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast. Look, I get it. You got to give guys a rest every now and then. 5 games in 4 days. I totally understand it. But what is completely blasphemous to me is that Kyle Tucker was in the lineup. I don't understand. I know it's a huge story right now. He was playing with a hairline fracture. Now it's healed, so they were just giving him rest. Whether it's mechanical, physical, whatever it is with Kyle Tucker, he is not able to contribute to the Cubs right now. He has no extra base hits in August, and his replacement, Owen Casey, had some huge hits and was a huge reason why the Cubs took this series 3 out of 5 from Milwaukee. It's not about the projections or the analytics. You got to have a feel for what's going on right now. This isn't a marathon anymore. It's a sprint. And right now, Owen Casey over Kyle Tucker right now gives you the best chance to win baseball games. Let Kyle Tucker go to the IL, go to Arizona, take some live BP, and get himself right, because that's best for the Cubs long term if they have any chance to advance in the playoffs. But clearly playing him right now every day, it's not working. It's just making things worse. He was 0 for 4 today, tons of soft contact in big spots, and I thought it was a huge reason why the Cubs lost.
Thoughts, Steve? Do they need to put Kyle Tucker on the IL, or can they just be trusted to give him some time off here and there?
I like how Sam wrapped that up, because I think, as where Kyle Tucker is right now, you're not going anywhere in October unless he's right, and contributing in that lineup. And not only that, he's got to be able to provide some fear in the opposing team in October of, hey, how do we pitch this guy? We want to, can we pitch around him? Along those lines, and, can he get himself out? So I liked how Sam tied that together. I mean, if he's injured, yeah, something should happen. And if it's affecting him at the plate, then yes, something should happen. But, you need his bat as soon as possible. So you can't put him out for, a 15-day period. And, Casey's a good story right now, flavor of the month, all of that. But you need Kyle Tucker as soon as possible contributing to that lineup.
I'm going to throw you a curveball real quick. We're about to get to the Dodgers and then the Padres. They're fighting for the NL West. But right now, the Dodgers are in the third the third seed for the postseason if it were to start today. The Cubs are the fourth. Is it worth ILing Kyle Tucker? And if you fall from the top wildcard spot to the second wildcard spot and you get to take on the Mets and not the Dodgers, is that a better matchup? Do you risk potentially dropping in the wildcard standings just to get Kyle Tucker right?
I've given in to calling Major League Baseball's postseason a tournament.
Yeah.
I grant that now, because it's what it is. And it's over the last couple of years, whoever gets hottest this, in October, you can make the run to the World Series. The World Series becomes gravy. You make it to the League Championship Series, you go from there. You start trying to figure out, you're going to become the NBA and figure out your seeding with 5+ weeks left in the regular season. I think you could easily shoot yourself in the foot, and it's not going to work out the way you want it to.
Yeah, they're only a game up of San Diego for that, to keep the top spot in the wild card. Speaking of the NL West, Dodgers at Rockies. They win 9-5 in the finale for a split of the series. It feels like every year there's one Dodgers series where they go to Colorado, and I'm not going to say they forget how to play baseball, but they forget that they're supposed to be a super team, and they have to salvage a series split or avoid a sweep at the very end. But Clayton Kershaw, 5 2/3, not amazing. 3 runs on 6 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, but he's won 4 straight starts now.
And as I was watching that game and putting together the recap for our show, Lindsay, I'm thinking, where does Clayton Kershaw fit in? And because of injuries, he may fit in. He's got to start a game 2 or game 3 in a playoff series. But where does he fit in at the start of the playoffs in the postseason for the Dodgers?
Yeah, is he? Which game is he starting? If you're looking at the Dodgers, it's a valid question. But I think the fact that Andy Pages has had a great year. They have a lot of outfield questions between Teoscar, Michael Conforto, but they've got Pages. And then with Alex Freeland coming up, if you can get Max Muncy healthy by the postseason and get Miguel Rojas healthy, you've got options where you can move guys around. The team, you can see they're starting to get healthy, and they're starting to they're bringing Tanner Scott back. I think it's supposed to be tomorrow. And so you're getting closer and closer to the Dodgers team they thought they were going to have. They'll have 5 or 6 starters. They'll have Ohtani and Snell and Glasnow and Yamamoto. And I guess Kershaw's your 5, to your point.
And I'm looking forward to see how Snell goes up against the Padres and Darvish in game 1 Friday night of that series.
That's going to be a fantastic matchup. Speaking of the Padres, they hosted the Giants. They won the series 3-1 because they won the finale 8-4. They dropped the opener on Monday and won the next 3. And the trade deadline is the reason I think they won today's game. Freddie Fermin has a bunt. They got him from the Royals. Drops a bunt down with 2-1 in the 5th. Gets a single. Ramon Laureano scores on the play. I mean, like it's the trade deadline won them this game. Can they catch the Dodgers? They're a game back of the Dodgers. If I saw that right in the standings.
I mean, I think I have it right. They don't play again after this weekend series.
Yeah, this is it, which is weird to do it in August.
Yeah. So we're going to lose out on a head-to-head matchup in September if this is a 1 or 2 game lead for either team in the West. But I like the Padres right now. And for exactly what you said of their additions at the trade deadline. And when Mike Schill can get that bullpen exactly the way he wants it and go for the jugular in the 5th or 6th or even 7th inning and have those guys lined up. I mean, they haven't had many bumps in the road. Mason Miller's been fine. I mean, that bullpen is legit, and you have a hard time. You're down a run, he's going to go for it. If they're down a run, he's going to try to keep it a 1-run deficit. It's tied or the Padres have the lead. Good luck.
I always love it when the manager goes for it. It just I'm sure the guys have to love it too. The energy is there in the dugout whenever they do it. All right. And just a second, speaking of going for it, let's talk about your Red Sox in the Bronx taking on the Yankees. We'll do that next right here on MLB Game Night. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401k, property, and investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's why Monarch Money exists. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Because Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you because it does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. All right, Steve, your Red Sox went into the Bronx, took down the Yankees 6-3 in the opener. Before I get your side, let's hear from Brian McKeon, fellow Locked On MLB Game Night host for our Sundays, from the Yankees' perspective on what happened in this one.
Yankees drop game 1 to the Red Sox 6-3 as they drop a game and a crucial start to a 4-game series. I'm Brian McKeon from Locked On Yankees. Wasn't a terrific start from Luis Gil. Kind of was all over the strike zone. 5 walks, not what you want ideally, and the bullpen was really not great. I don't understand why De Los Santos was in a 1-run game. You were down a run, but you wanted to keep it there, and certainly they weren't able to do that. Offense was good answering back and forth, but listen, it is a 4-game series, and as long as they keep this thing close, as long as they split this series, you'd like to win. They have a much easier schedule than Boston and should be able. This is what was important to us about building a cushion, and the Yankees were able to do that, so they're able to play a little more freely in this series. Not trying to minimize the importance, but just trying to be a little more realistic. We'll be discussing all of it on Locked On Yankees.
To his point, the Yankees' remaining schedule, according to Tankathon, is 28th hardest in baseball. They have the hard series. They have Houston for 3. They have this series. They have 5 more against Boston, right? They have Toronto. They have Detroit, but they also get 7 against the White Sox, 3 against the Twins, 7 against the Orioles. Boston, your Boston Red Sox, like you've got Detroit, you've got Blue Jays, you've got Cleveland, and you don't have a ton of guys to beat up on. You get to beat up on the Orioles for 4. That's about really it. The Pirates for 3.
You know what, though? As Lindsay, the Red Sox just lost 2 at home to the Baltimore Orioles to open up the week and went on this 8-game road trip with a 3-game losing streak. The Marlins I identify as a team that's going to be just a pain in the neck the rest of the way.
Yep.
The Pirates don't seem like they're bringing up more pitching. They brought up some position guys. Those guys are going to want to win some baseball games. And the Orioles, 4 against the Orioles starting on Monday for the Red Sox. That's also a big series for Boston as well. This is an 8-game trip. And also Friday started, I think they go pretty much almost 2 full weeks without a scheduled day off now as well. So that's pretty big. But, Heel, as we heard from Brian, okay, the walks, this easily could have been, he could have given up 6 runs in his outing. The Red Sox took their futility with runners in scoring position from Tuesday, and they took it to another level.
3 for 19.
3 for 19. So Nathaniel Lowe broke the 3-3 tie, RBI double in the 7th inning. It's a 1-run game going to the 9th. And I put it out there on X, and I didn't have to update the number. 11 walk-off losses on the season for the Red Sox. But Roman Anthony, 2-out, 2-run home run. His first home run at Yankee Stadium. That made it 6-3. Aroldis Chapman. I go now 1A. Crochet and Chapman, 1 and 1A for the pickups by Craig Breslow in the offseason because he worked a 1-2-3 bottom of the 9th inning. And it wasn't the bottom of the lineup, which feasted on Red Sox pitching prior to the 9th inning. It was Judge, Bellinger, and Stanton. He retired all 3 of them and closed the door on a 6-3 win.
Yeah. Flip side is the Yankees acquisitions can't seem to get things right. Camilo Doval blew the lead in the 6th.
Yes, and looked like a deer in headlights.
Yeah, I mean, they've been wearing it right now. All right, game 2 tomorrow. I'm going to be watching both this and Padres Dodgers all weekend.
Yes.
Mets at Nationals. Nationals won the finale 9-3. They took the series. We've got both sides of this. Let's get Ryan Clary from Locked On Nationals first, and then we'll talk to the Mets guys.
The Nationals get the win in Game 3, but also take the series win against the New York Mets, and they have continued to stutter down the stretch. I'm Ryan Clary from Locked On Nationals, and yes, the Washington Nationals got the win today, 9-3 against the Mets. The Nats offense, and more in particular, their young bats, James Wood adding a 3-run home run later on in the game, and also Brady House having 3 hits today. Look what happens when you put Brady House in the lineup. Good things happen when you play your young guys. By the way, that is one of the Nationals' goals for the second half, and they continued it on today. Robert Hassel III did come in later on in the game. Still want to see him in the starting lineup, but I guess we'll get to that point. But the Nationals, they battled their way through it. Again, this was not an easy matchup going up against the Mets. Yesterday, going up against Kodai Senga, and of course, the Nationals killer himself, David Peterson, on Tuesday, but the Nationals persevered and they got the series win. And more importantly, on a Mackenzie Gore start day, the Nationals get the job done.
You mentioned Quinn Priester earlier in the show about needing to give them some length. Sean Manaea, 4 2/3, 4 runs on 3 hits. Now, 8 strikeouts, like that, fantastic numbers there, but they just cannot seem to get a starting pitcher through the 5th inning.
Yeah, and even if they get 2 outs, they're well received in the dugout. Kodai Senga in his last outing, it's high fives all around. I'm like, what are we high fiving this guy for? He didn't go long enough, and
he didn't qualify for a win. What are we doing?
Yeah, so I can't pinpoint it with the Mets anymore. I loved Ryan's excitement, and let's talk about the Mets. Juan Soto 0 for 5 at the plate. We're going to hear from their guys, as you mentioned, in just a moment.
Yeah.
But Washington's bullpen is probably 28, 29, or 30 in Major League Baseball. 5 relievers, 4 2/3 scoreless after Gore in the finale on Thursday, after tossing 3 2/3 scoreless in the win on Wednesday.
It's just the Mets are going through it. And I mean, Juan Soto, you said 0 for 5, 3 strikeouts. He went 1 for 12 in the series. Just now, the Mets are up 6-4 in the season series. They'll get 3 more in New York in September. But here's Chris Schubert for the Mets side of this about what happened over there.
The New York Mets dropped the series in the nation's capital, losing 2 in a row to the Washington Nationals, and it was an unacceptable effort. Losing a series to the worst team in the National League, one of the worst teams in baseball, would be unacceptable anywhere else on the calendar. It is even more unacceptable for it to happen in the month of August. Certainly unacceptable to happen with the Mets holding on to the slimmest of margins over the Cincinnati Reds for the final spot in the National League playoff race. And it's unacceptable for this Mets offense over 2 days to have just 2 hits against the worst bullpen in the sport. 30th in ERA, 30th in WHIP, bottom 3rd in every other major category when you look at bullpens. But the Mets somehow unable to crack the code. Sean Manaea struggles on the mound. The Mets need more. They need more from Kodai Senga. They need more from Sean Manaea. Both of those guys got off to great starts, but couldn't finish the job. And if the Mets want to hold off the Reds, if the Mets want a shot at even playing in October. They need to be better, and they need to be better in a hurry.
Here's the thing about the Mets is they take on Atlanta this weekend.
Yep.
And they are 3-7 against this version of the Atlanta Braves. And so it's just like it doesn't get any easier. I mean, it doesn't get easier. They get Nolan McLean making his second start. He takes on Joey Wentz, but just half a game. You got half a game on the Reds right now, and it feels like they're not going to have that for very much longer. The Reds are in Arizona this weekend. I feel better about the Reds winning than I do about the Mets, simply because the Mets are going through it.
Yeah, and the Reds have had their opportunities not to only get in front of the Mets, but also, maybe provide a little cushion as well in the wild card race. But like you, I would not be surprised if we're talking about the flip-flop here over the next couple of days going into this weekend.
Yep. All right, real quick, Rangers at Royals. Royals win the finale 6-4. They win the series 3-1. So they take 3 out of 4 here. They're 8-2 on this homestand, which is just Coffin's been kind of a house of horrors for the home team offensively all year. But Bobby Witt, 2 hits, 1's a double, 2 stolen bases. He gets a run. Nick Lofton homers. Vinny Pasquantino homers. He had homers in all 4 games of this series, 4 homers and 7 RBI. And the Royals pen, I think, was the big reason here why they did this. 4 2/3 innings, 1 hit, no walks, 6 strikeouts from 5 total relievers. That is just elite. You cannot ask for anything better than that from your bullpen, and that is why they won this. And now the question is, can they go into Detroit and win this weekend?
Yeah. This is a big stretch for the Royals, 4 over 500 with the win against the Rangers on Thursday. But now they've got 3 in Detroit this weekend, play the Tigers 6 times in 10 days starting on Friday.
They're 2 games back of the final wild card spot there in the American League, so we'll see what happens. All right, just a second. Let's talk about A's Twins and Cardinals Rays. A lot of interesting stuff there. We'll do that next right here on MLB Game Night. It is time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime-flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite with a non-alcoholic boost. It's perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push to power through your day, 5-Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. That's a totally normal thing that we have always said. The grape, ginger, lime flavor of 5-Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the beverage cart. And now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament that's not the Masters in the United States. So tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary, excludes the Masters tournament, and ends October 31st, 2025. Okay, so Athletics in Minnesota taking on the Twins. They completed the sweep by winning 8-3 today. Let's hear from our friend Brandon Warren of Locked On Twins about what went wrong for Minnesota this week.
Twins fall 4-2 in extra innings as Shea Langoliers takes Genesis Cabrera deep, and the Twins have no answer. This is Brandon Warren with your Locked On Twins post-game minute. Again, Twins fall in extras. Now 10 games. That's right, 10. The most they've been under 500 all season.
That's the wrong game. He sent us the wrong game. Okay, yeah. This one's 8-3. The A's won this one, a 6-run second inning. Lawrence Butler clears bases loaded with a double. Nick Kurtz had a solo home run later. He's hit 26, 68 RBI. Kind of feels like he's going to run away with AL Rookie of the Year at this point, doesn't it?
Can I share one real quick? Because I brought Nick Kurtz up. I brought Nick Kurtz up on the Locked On Red Sox postcast because they're saying Roman Anthony Rookie of the Year. I'm like,
there's no way.
There's no way. He's not there. He's just not. I mean,
can Roman Anthony hit 30 homers in the month of September?
Can he? I mean, he's literally got to carry him on the back the rest of the way over the last 5+ weeks of the season. But I agree. As you were going down that road, Kurtz put his name on the AL Rookie of the Year award. I'm fine with that, and I think it'll be well deserved at the end as well.
Tyler Soderstrom, by the way, 4 for 4 in this game. He's hit safely
Yeah.
in 19 games in a row, 370 average over that stretch. Flip side of this for the Twins, they're 3-9 in their last 12. They were now 11 games below 500, worst mark of the season. So I feel bad for our friends of the Twins. They go to Chicago to take on the White Sox after this. So it's a stoppable force versus a movable object. We'll see what happens in that one. All right, Cardinals at Rays down in St. Pete. Let's hear from JD Haffron, Locked On MLB Game Night host, for the Cardinals' perspective on their 7-4 win.
The St. Louis Cardinals do a little bit of everything as they pick up the win over the Tampa Bay Rays. Hey, it's JD from Locked On Cardinals, and the boys started off their series against Tampa Bay with a 7-4 victory on Thursday. Sonny Gregg wasn't great, but in a very offensive-friendly ballpark, I feel like he did a good job. He held the Rays to 3 runs over 5 innings with 6 whiffs to get his 12th win of the season. The offense reached double-digit hits again. Alec Burleson goes 2 for 5 with a couple ribbies. Wilson Contreras hits a mammoth home run, his 17th of the season. That's back-to-back games that Wilson Contreras has hit a long fly. Newton Gorman each had a pair of hits. Rookie Nathan Church still looking for his first big league hit, but he did contribute with 2 runs scored and also threw out a runner from center field at third base to save a run from scoring. The bullpen, it teetered a little bit, but it never broke. JoJo was humming over those last 2 innings, a rare 2-inning save for Romero. He strikes out 3. They got some help, yes, from the Rays' sloppy defense, let's be honest. But all in all, it was a solid team effort, a solid team win, and a great way to start this 3-game series. For the latest updates and info, be sure to keep it Locked On Cardinals.
So the fun news here is Lars Nootbaar, 2 for 3, double with a run on RBI, 2 walks. It's his 5th straight multi-hit game, and that is a career high. He's quickly, for me, becoming one of those, if he can stay healthy, guys, he is such a fantastic talent when he's on the field. And unfortunately, he's not doing that enough.
And is he part of the Cardinals' future when they're? I mean, I don't want them to be 500 this year. I want them to be at least 3-4 games over 500 at the end of the season. But is he part of this team as they maybe turn the corner with Heimblum taking over this offseason, and he puts his fingerprints all over this team? I feel like Lars Nootbaar should be, because he's endured this over as he's become a good big league ball player. And like you said, the numbers can be there. Stay healthy. He's not JD Drew yet. He's not JD Drew, but just be in the lineup more than you're not.
That 1 year JD Drew had in Atlanta was absurd. Okay. Ray's side of this, he mentioned the sloppy defense, right? Not Chandler Simpson. Carson Williams getting the call up, shortstop prospect. I had the chance to call a week of his games when he was in AA.
Yep.
One of the best defensive shortstops I have seen in person, and this is coming from a Braves fan that watched Andrelton Simmons. He's not Andrelton Simmons, but he is one of the best defensive shortstops I have seen. And so you have to think, 1, that's a fantastic thing for their defense. But 2, Ha-Sung Kim has a player option for 2026. Does he opt out and enter a free agent market that has Bo Bichette and nothing else at shortstop? He's had a terrible year. He's been hurt the whole time.
Yeah.
But even despite that, does he say, I don't want to play second base for a year and then try to go be a free agent? Or does he just enter the market and give, I think it's like $11 million he'd be giving up. Does he just give up a double-digit $1 million deal to go into the free agency market and try to sign somewhere? What happens there?
Anytime you bring up free agency now, I think not about this upcoming offseason, but the offseason after that. And what,
27.
And you're putting yourself into a gamble there with a potential work stoppage. And then all of a sudden in spring training, who's got a seat and who doesn't when the music stops. I saw what you put out there on X earlier today about the defensive capabilities. The Rays are set on the left side of the infield. And remember this, he may not get him, Wander Franco was the future. And now still their left side of the infield for, a handful of years here is well above average.
Junior Caminero and Carson Williams. Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to put up numbers and they're going to play solid defense for you. Above
Caminero,
average.
Cabanero in his rookie year, he played a little bit of shortstop when they needed it. It was right after the Wander Franco thing. Like they had to figure it out. He slid over and played shortstop for like a week and was not terrible at it. He's not great, but he wasn't terrible. So yeah, they're going to be set. Carson Williams can have some pop too. So that could be a left side of the infield. If everything goes right, they could both be above average 2 Gold Glove caliber defenders, more so Williams than Cabanero, but they could both hit 30 plus homers too. That could be a force right there. All right, final game of the day, talking about young dynamic shortstops. Astros at Orioles. Astros won the opener. It's a 4-game series. They won the opener 7-2. They scored a bunch in the early innings, 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third. And we talk about trade acquisitions. Jesus Sanchez was not looking like it was a good one. He was 0 for 29 coming into the day, but he goes 5 for 5 today. And then Carlos Correa turns around with 2 hits and 2 RBI. And so just they're another team where the trade acquisitions power them to a win in an important game that they need to stay on top of the West.
Yeah, Jason Alexander worked into the 6th inning, picks up the win, and then the bullpen without Josh Hader back there, 3 2/3 scoreless for the Astros. So 12 over 500. They pick up the victory in game 1 of the series against the Orioles, who came in playing winning baseball of late.
Yeah, I mean, they took down your Red Sox a little bit earlier. All right, we've got a couple minutes left here, like maybe like a minute or two. Looking ahead to the weekend, it feels like the obvious answers, Dodgers, Padres, and Yankees, Red Sox are the 2 series with the biggest playoff implications. Outside of that, who are you most excited to watch this weekend?
Tough one.
Yeah.
Lot of West Coast games coming here over the weekend that we have.
Always fun for us on game night because we have to try to scramble late to get them all done.
So, you know what? I guess I'll say Phillies home against the Nationals, because the Nationals just took a series from the Mets. They've got a little momentum. They've got Dylan Cruz back in there. Ryan mentioned it. Hey, put Brady House in the lineup. Let's see what can happen. Let's see what these young guys do going into Philadelphia for the weekend. They don't have Mackenzie Gore, but maybe they can do so. I mean, maybe this bullpen could pull out the magic at least once or twice in the series. So I'll take I'm not going to call them the upstart Nationals yet, but I'll take them against the Phillies. And that's it. You mentioned the 2 top series, NL West and AL East. That's where it's at this weekend.
Here's one, same time as Dodgers Padres, unfortunately, but A's at Mariners. The Mariners pitching staff versus the A's offense. Unstoppable force, immovable object in this one. Excited to see what those 2 squads do facing off with one another. It's been another fantastic episode of MLB Game Night. Do us a favor. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review. Tell a friend about the show. We're really proud of what we do over here every single game, every single night. You're watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when we are back tomorrow. Steve and I are here with another episode. For Steve Lennox, I'm Lindsey Crosby. This has been MLB Game Night.